Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Lisa's Love and Light. How is everyone doing today? I hope you all are doing well. It's only Tuesday and it feels like a rough week. Kind of tired today, but anyway, I am here and the weather outside is a little crazy, like it's going to snow, etc. But anyway, I hope you all are doing well. Uh, let's see. My day so far, like how we've been talking about healing, grief, etc. Today, not so much in grief, but exhausted, just feeling tired today. Um, Trying to get to bed a little earlier and just back and forth with my doctor because I have to add more how do you say it? Iodine in my food, which is salt, which I would never think that the doctor will want me to do that. But anyway, because of some thyroid stuff that's going on. So thank God that I'm doing that and the situation is under control because I was concerned about that. But anyway, it's hard, like I said, to change the way you eat, the way you do things, but it's important health wise. So I am doing that, but trying to get to bed at a certain time because getting the necessary amount of sleep. So I like that patient portal that they have. You guys ever use that? When the doctors are busy and stuff, they talk to you on the patient portal. I like that because we can communicate back and forth. And, she's like telling me, oh, you need to be in bed a certain time. You need to get rest because I'm trying not to work as much as I do because I'll forget about time, and I'm always working online, doing new things and things with my book and stuff. So, um, time management, and that's something that I'm still working on because I have issues with that. Like we all have something, and that's mine. Time management. I'll sit and drink tea and eat something as I'm working. So, trying to work on that. So anyway, the good news is I'm making strides, little steps at a time. But I feel better because I did change some things, how I eat and etc. But now the hard part is getting to bed to get the necessary rest. So anyway, we all have something to work on, right? So thank you all for showing up here today. This Tuesday look like snow. So, the topic of discussion today is stay at peace. It's so important when you're on this journey to heal to stay at peace. And sometimes that can be hard. I'm going to give you guys an example of what happened to me. And it was really like irritating. So I have a Facebook page like everybody else, but I don't use it in the same way that I used to because I used to be on there a lot. I'm not. I'll be on there to share like a funny story, send a funny picture or something about music, something like that. I don't use it to share my personal business, etc. That was one of the hardest things for me, not to share my personal business because when things are going on and you're getting excited about certain things you want to share. It took me a long time to learn that too, and sometimes I still try not to slip and share things because it's important at this time for me to keep my personal business personal. Not that anything negative is going on, but when you have things going on and you want to see it all the way to fruition, you just don't share it. You just keep it private. So I'm learning to do those things. But anyway, getting back to the Facebook situation. So I have a Facebook page, and I noticed and found out that someone had hacked into my account and they were using my page to friend people, and they were friending all types of people, saying whatever, whenever. And that really um, started to irritate me because I don't do that. I don't send people friend requests unless I had a conversation with you and it's something like, hey, I'm going to send you a friend request because A, B, C, and D. But it would be somebody I already know who I'm not friends with on Facebook. And then they couldn't find me or something like that because I'm not under my last name. Um, and then I would send them a friend request under those circumstances, right? But not me just randomly sending friend requests to people and having weird conversations with them. I don't do stuff like that. Anyone who knows me know I don't operate that way. I'm not a drama queen. I don't start drama. I don't do any of those things. I spend a lot of time alone healing. I will do things on my own or talk to a friend or so, but I don't do certain things. And when I saw that, it caught my attention. And immediately, how you have to report it. And then I went on to my page and I told everyone in a post that do not accept anything that's coming from me unless we talk first because someone hacked my account. And those things are concerning, on Facebook when you're dealing with Facebook and people are doing stuff like that. It's really irritating. And so that's stuff like that irritates me, but I'm still moving forward, making people aware of that so that they don't interact with whoever hacked my account. It's important to stay on top of those things, people, because we got a lot of weird stuff happening today. People just doing all types of nonsense. So just beware of everything. And also, I wanted to talk a little bit about it's okay to tell other people no. When you're on the journey to heal and you're trying to get better and heal your grief, get through it rather, because we never get over it, and just do things to better your life so that you can feel better and do better. Sometimes people may come along and try to interfere with that. Like, for example, like if someone wants to go out on a date or something, right? Or it could be they ask me to do a favor or something. And if I am not up to it or I don't want to, like, for example, if I'm not interested, I'm going to tell the person, I'm not interested in doing that. I don't have to hurt anyone's feelings. I don't have to act out of character or use profanity. Just, firmly say I'm not interested. And what I notice is that the some people can't take rejection well, and then they go on a rampage of trying to ruin your reputation and saying things, untruthful stuff to try to get a rise and a reaction out of you. And that's when I really have to just, post things about it and then leave it as is. If it gets out of control, out of hand, then you get authorities involved if necessary. But no means no. And the old Lisa would take a chance on things that I knew I wasn't interested in. Okay, well, let's just see how this works out. But all the time in the back of my mind, knowing that I'm not interested, but I was having a problem with saying no because I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings or et cetera and so forth. But the new me, as I continue to stay on this path to heal, will tell a person no because it's a waste of my time and their time because I know I'm not interested and this is not going to go anywhere. And I don't have to, say it and be mean about it. But some people just can't take rejection. Believe me, I've had my share of rejection. It doesn't feel good, but you have to move on. You can't force somebody to be with you or to date you and you're not interested. Like I said a while back in one of my videos, that, I was just making friends with, a few people from a group that I belong to, just sharing information, talking. And then this particular person wanted to go out on a date and I wasn't interested. And it started to irritate me because each time I said no, this person kept insisting why we were good for each other and all that. And to me, that's borderline with somebody who has some issues going on. And I had to shut it down, block, cut off, and delete that because I knew it was something I wasn't interested in. And, and it just, it shouldn't come to that. We all are adults and we have to take the good with the bad. If someone's not interested, um, just accept it for what it is and move on to someone who is. And also, it's okay to say no. Like if someone asks you for a favor, you're trying to spend time to yourself to heal. And that's okay too, because we talk about on this channel the importance of taking care of your physical and mental health. That's a priority over everything else. So it's important to do that. And if you're doing that, like let's say you're not feeling too well, meaning that you may have some grief issues going on a particular day that someone contacts you asking you to do something. It's okay to say no. You don't have to say yes to something that you truly are not in a mood to do and you don't feel like doing it. People do that a lot, just to please somebody else. And I know that very well because I was a person who was subservient to doing things like that. Now, it's okay to say no. You don't have to be rude, disrespectful, or nasty about it. You could just say no, I'm, really rather stay home because I need time alone. You can tell people that. It's okay to say that you are trying to heal from whatever traumatic experience of loss, etc., that you're going through. We all are human and we all have something going on, and it's okay, to say no. And I used to feel guilty in the past about saying no to people, because, but then I would try, it would take a toll on me because I really didn't want to do what they were asking me to do in the first place, but I didn't want to be mean about it. But what I was doing is hurting myself to please somebody else because I really didn't want to. So today, what I do, I'm not up to doing this today, but perhaps, maybe in the near future or something like that. Let people know that you're on this path to healing. There's no shame to this. Because as I always say, if you don't take care of your physical and mental health, you're no good to yourself or anybody else. It's important. And peace, as you start to heal things in your life, look at yourself and make a list of what you want to change that seems toxic or not okay in your life. And as sit and think about ways you want to change these things, it's okay because we all have things going on. This is the journey called life. And on this journey, we have to deal with the cards that we have been dealt. And there's no shame to it. When someone can improve their life for the better, it's awesome. I grew up in New York in the South Bronx, and it just, for me, I went at school was everything to me at the time, reading books. I spent a lot of time also with an older woman who was like a grandmother to me. I had grandparents, they were alive, but they lived in North Carolina. They had a farm. I didn't see them all the time. So this particular woman took me under her wings and I spent time with her. I used to go over to her house and on weekends when I was a teenager. I could have easily took a wrong turn, but I didn't. And I spent time with her learning about her families, looking at photo albums, hearing stories. And that's how I got an interest into writing and then reading books. I was addicted at one time to Danielle Steele books. I must have read every book that she wrote. I spent a lot of time reading. English was my favorite subject because we always had to do essays on different books and stories. I spent a lot of time at the library, things like that. So I wasn't running the streets or getting involved in things that I shouldn't be involved with. And I'm grateful for that. And, later on, years later, I started college, then I didn't finish. And then when my son was about 13, 14, I went back and I got my bachelor's degree in marketing and communication and also writing because I took a lot of literature classes and just finished my third book, still trying to get it published at an affordable price. But I'm saying all these things that we can change. We can how do I say this? The card that we have been dealt in life, we can change that for the better, is basically what I'm saying. We don't have to just hold on to that card and say, this is how it is. We can do things to make our life better, to make it a different outcome. You know, let the put a twist plot to the storyline. And it's important to do these things. You know, and when I talk about this, I'm talking mainly also about mental health issues, because mental health is the primary reason today that people feel stuck and stagnated because of depression, things that traumatic experiences, and they don't know what to do or how to get themselves up out of the situation. And one thing I did, when I'm talking from experience, not telling people what to do, but what I do here is share my personal experiences, is that it was so bad at one time because I never thought I was going to lose my mother at that particular time. And when it happened, and then my dog and other people dying, a friend of mine who I was supposed to get together with like 2 days after I had a phone call with her, and she was found dead in her kitchen on the floor. I think she had a heart attack or something. And it just went on, and it was overwhelming. And I had to find a way to get through all that, and then, trying to get the help for my dog, who had taken a fall because he missed a step due to his arthritis, and he had injured his back. It was just one thing like a domino effect right behind each other. So I had to learn that. One of the things I started to do was therapy, grief therapy, immediately. And it was hard because I didn't want to talk about these things. I didn't want to look in a mirror and face these things. And it was hard, but I promise you guys that as you stay on a path to do the work, it gets easier and it gets better, but it's not going to happen right away, step after step after step. And there was plenty of times I just felt like throwing in the towel and giving up. And as I went into prayer with God, asking him to help me, he did help me. I was sincere about it. And then I started to get really serious about doing the work, because I was at a place, where I felt so low after all these things were occurring, that I stayed on a path, to do this. And I have my days like everybody else where I don't feel like doing anything. And like this weekend, I think I slept most of the day Saturday. I was so tired because I've been doing extra work on my own besides my job. And and I was doing some work Friday night late, and when I went to bed, I don't think I woke up till 12 o'clock the next day. And trying to follow my doctor's orders, but we'll see. We'll get better with that. But um, it's like I have days where, especially Sunday evenings, because that's the time I used to have conversations with my mother all the time. And, sometimes I just, something that happened that I would talk to my mother about and almost forget that she's not here. And I'm like, oh man, and then I just, start crying out of the blue. And it's okay, before, I felt bad about crying because I associated with weakness, but it's a strength because it's an outlet for the pain. But if we stay stagnated and we don't do anything about these feelings of depression and feelings of grief, then it stays stuck within us. Therapy is an outlet for it. Crying, taking time to ourselves. Music is a healing force. I wish I had a piano because I have a little organ. And sometimes I get on that and play that because I have a music book. Things that I like to do, I engage myself in it because it distracts me away from the pain and the grief and all that other stuff that I be feeling. Because I still feel those things, because it's a huge loss when you lose a parent, when you lose a pet, and it's just, you never get over it. You still have that void, but you can get through it, people. Talk about how you're feeling. And as you start to do this and take time out to yourself. Throw yourself into like a volunteer project of some sort, to distract your mind. And when you feel grief, let yourself feel it. Put on some music. Just don't stay in a place of depression long. Feel it and allow yourself to know that this is what's going on, but you don't have to stay there. And it's important to do things, make a list of what you want to do to how you want things to be better, to be different, you know, because you matter. You have to put yourself as a priority, because as you do that, that's self-care. Taking care of yourself, making sure you eat, making sure you get enough rest, making sure you taking care of you first, because if you don't take care of you, you can't take care of anything else around you. And one of the things that was important for me is to remove toxicity. Toxic people, toxic situations, and it was very difficult, but it was necessary. And like I said, and as you do all these things, you start to self love and self care. And as you start to love yourself, you you don't want to engage in things that are toxic. Like things start to change in your life, like the old habits that you used to have of doing things a certain way. Then you realize as you self love and you do the work, you start to look at things and life and situations at a different perspective. How can I get through this situation? you know and whereas before you may not have any ideas on how to get through something, but as you do the work, you start to self-care. I've become more responsible, self-disciplined. I don't allow any and everyone into my space, into my life. I start, and I see things for as they are and not how I want it to be. you know and so, but it takes time. Everything takes time. It's like getting on a bike to ride. You don't ride the very first time you get on. You have to continue. The important thing out of this entire message is to persevere. Never give up on yourself. Never lose hope in yourself, because you're investing in you. And if you don't care about you, then how do you expect anyone else to? If you don't love you, how do you expect anyone else to? So you are investing in yourself, and that's important, and that's always a priority. And it's important to self-love, means self-care. And you start to do things different. You start to really become peaceful, as you start doing the work. And as that happens, you things change for the better, but don't give up. Don't give up, people. Stay at peace. It's important to stay at peace. It's important to have peaceful situations and set boundaries. It's important to do that. And that's what I was always told by my therapist: set boundaries. And as I tried to do that, I was scared at first to set boundaries, because losing people that and who's been a part of your life for so long didn't feel good. And I knew if I set some boundaries, some people were going to try to not respect those boundaries, jump over them, or say, why are you setting these boundaries? Why are you doing that for me, or whatever? And I didn't want to deal with all of that. But I had to learn, as I continue to do the work with my therapist, I learned ways to do that effectively. And when people start to cross over, cross through those boundaries, I would remind them, hey, I set a boundary here. This is, so people don't become intrusive of my space and my time and etc. And if they continue to disrespect those boundaries, then I close the door, and I don't open it anymore, because that sends a huge message to me. So it's important, I have my days, I have my good days, and I have my not so good days, but I still stay on this path of healing. And it's important that these messages get out to help other people, because some people are in despair, deep depression, and sometimes people have suicidal thoughts, and we don't want people in that energy, because there's hope, there's help out there. They don't have to be in that energy and stay there. you know it's help. you know. It's important that we help each other, you know, because as you help other people through your stories of how you got through something, you may say something that may help somebody else, someone who was borderline on suicidal thoughts and despair, and you say that one thing that will catch their attention, and it may be effective in helping them to change their entire situation. So it's important. This is a no judgment zone here because we all have something, we all are going through something. And as we help each other, it helps us as well, you know, to help the next person. I've learned through all this, you know, pain and turmoil and struggling and persevering and fighting through, is to turn that pain into power, power into purpose, purpose into paying it forward to help other people. Because when other people get the help they need and they stay on a path to heal and to do the work, they get better. And then they want to share that with other people. They can be a testimony to other people because if you walked in the shoes of someone else, you can tell them what you've done that has helped you. And then, you know, that situation that you share with them can help them as well. And that's the point here, to keep going. That's why I always show up. You know, sometimes I'll be here a little longer than usual, and other times it may not be that long, but the message is getting to people. And someone somewhere, a few people who are in despair, needs to hear this message because they need to be uplifted and know that they're not in this alone. A lot of us have gone through grief, you know, and it's not easy, especially trigger grief, which I didn't know a lot about until after my mom and my dog passed away. And I would have moments if I see things, hear a piece of music that my mom liked, or a specific conversation or a picture. There was many times that I went into a store, a supermarket, shortly thereafter my mom passed away, and I saw a picture of something, or I saw something, or heard something. One time I ran out of the store and I had a cart full of food. I couldn't do it. I couldn't shop. I had to go home, and all I did is cry on my knees in a fetal position for a long time. And my neighbor then at the time, who passed away shortly thereafter, would come up and talk to me. And I was just a mess. I couldn't do it. I need my mother. I can't do this. And she would encourage me and talk to me, you know. And my dog was still alive. I had him. He would sit next to me when I would just be in that position. I didn't want to, you know, get dressed. I didn't want to do much of anything, you know. And I just kept asking God, why was this happening? You know, why, you know? And, you know, it's just what doesn't break us will make us stronger. And then as we get stronger, you know, we can help other people. It's not easy, people, but never stay to yourself in a place of depression. You know, that's the message here today. Also, I want to say I'm not a therapist of any sort. I always say this on this channel because there may be new people who are watching this video for the first time. You know, I'm not a certified social worker or therapist, and I don't have a degree in that category. I do have a degree, but not in that category. But it's important, whatever state you are from, that you're watching this video, that you Google a therapist, a grief therapist, because that's where you can start. That's a start. That's the first step. And then, you know, there are bereavement groups, support groups where people are grieving just as hard as you are. And they may share some tips and information that can help you to get through it. Remember, we don't get over it, but we can get through it so that we can move on with our life. And keep your passed over loved ones' memory alive through storytelling. I always talk about my mother, talk about things about my dog, a friend of mine who passed over. Keep their memory alive. Remember, they don't ever want you to be in despair and depressed for the rest of your life because they're no longer here. You know, keep moving forward. And if you take a step today and tomorrow you don't take a step, make sure you take a step the next day. The important factor, key factor here is to persevere and to keep going and to never, ever allow yourself to give up on you. Make sure you always invest in you. that is the message today. Please share this video, like, and subscribe to the channel, because I'm always going to be here Monday through Friday sharing information with you to help encourage you to stay on this path always. Thank you for being here. This is Lisa, always encouraging everyone here and shedding love and light. Thank you all, and I'll be back tomorrow with a new message. Everyone have a great day. Bye for now.